Oh, I'm not lazy. I'm a bit burnt out because the symptoms are similar both in laziness and burnt out. Research has shown. I'm looking at the 8 ways we can distinguish between the two to help you if you're burnt out and not lazy. Let's look at number one, decreased productivity. Both laziness and burnout can lead to a decrease in productivity. They can be similar in many ways, but burnout then is more towards exhaustion and feeling overwhelmed, whereas laziness is more characterized by a lack of motivation. Now, research has shown that if we truly put into place the fact that uh, you give a person the rules, you tell them what is to be expected of them, an employee or whoever's under your control. And if they know this, it can severely um, manage, prevent even stress from occurring in the first place. I have seen many people with laziness and with burnout. In fact, a client of mine has been suicidal. They've been stressed so much, they've been burnt out so much, they've lost millions. And with that, they stopped. They hit a brick wall, more so ground to a standstill, and they had to give up everything, including their money, because that's what it did to their mindset at that time. Let's look at another one, procrastination. Wow, you can procrastinate, you cannot do something. This will stop you from achieving in many ways, in more ways than one. So far as procrastination, it's becoming such a common behavior that's associated with both laziness and burnout. And so your partner, your employee, your boss, even somebody more higher than you, for example, in whatever you're doing, can be perceived as both either lazy or burnt out or both. So procrastination is one of those things that like hits both sides. Burnout, though, can lead to a feeling of being unable to tackle tasks. So it's pushing the person back into a more stressful realm. They're feeling overawed, they're feeling closer to the burnout. And this is what's going to eventually happen. Of course, when something happens, when burnout hits, a person is not seen as lazy anymore, and people begin to understand it. So it's really and truly important to understand the differences and see the subtle signs between both laziness and burnout. Now, laziness, on the other hand, with regard to procrastination, involves a lack of desire generally to start tasks. And the desire means they're just like in that pit of laziness. They don't feel an inspiration or a motivation to get going at all. Apathy is an interesting one. Apathy can be a symptom again of both burnout and laziness. However, burnout can result in feeling detached and indifferent, while laziness, on the other hand, then can be marked out by a lack of interest or enthusiasm. Similar to not getting started, the procrastination way of things, laziness lacks that motivation, lacks that want to be inspired, even lack of enthusiasm. Lazy people can often be seen too uh, away from apathy as being physically sluggish, moving differently, a very relaxed, maybe seemingly relaxed posture, but a posture that is just downtrodden on. It can also be shown in their glimmer or lack of, more so, their hair, the texture of their skin, because laziness can often go through not just tasks and work, but also through wanting to keep fit, wanting to eat healthy, want to read about eating healthily, want to at least make an effort in many ways to socialize in all areas of life. And so it's not just a physical attribution, but you can also see it mentally within their work ethic too. So there's a crossover in that regard too. Reduced initiative certainly can be a thing when it comes to both burnout and laziness. This can lead to a reduction in initiative. The initiative is not taken. And we see this a lot in younger people. They say many millennials, they're not seeing the big picture, they just think of themselves and so on. And they lack the ability or the want to take the initiative. Now it's very clear. Have they the ability, or the question is clear more so, have they the ability or have they not the ability, or is it that they won't take the initiative? And I'm not just talking, by the way, about millennials here, but I'm just use that as an example. Many millennials are fantastic for sure. But there's a difference between having an ability and not actually taking the initiative. Whether we're millennials, Generation Y, X, Z, and so on, the reality is there's always a great percentage of people who have the ability to take the initiative, but for whatever reason, maybe societal or otherwise, cultural, age group wise, because of certain things, big things like that have happened to them culturally and so on, that might be stifling their ability. But that's subtly very different than actually being lazy. Burnout can make it difficult to take action due to exhaustion. The energy focus here in burnout is becoming quite apparent, the difference between laziness and burnout too. Now, while laziness, on the other hand, when we look at reduced initiative, involves a lack of motivation to initiate tasks. So again, that motivation, inspiration, that energy on the other side of things with regard to burnout. Another thing is mood changes. Mood changes such as irritability, frustration, these things. They can occur in both burnout and laziness, and induced stress can also lead to emotional shifts. While laziness, on the other hand, might just cause irritation due to avoiding responsibilities. Physical symptoms is another one. I mentioned and touched on the fact that you can see the glimmer or lack of, maybe the unattractiveness, uncouthness of a person's appearance with regard to laziness. Uh, Physical symptoms like fatigue and lethargy can be present in both burnout and laziness. Burnout, though, induced exhaustion affects physical energy in that particular way. Whereas on the laziness point, or from the laziness point of view, that involves a general lack of interest in expending energy. It's not that the person doesn't have the energy, it's that they will not generally want to expend it. You can see it often in a person's facial expressions. They can be slower, perhaps duller eye movements when certain things are mentioned, such as work tasks, such as things that generally do require the need for a little bit more of an energetic focus, shall we say. Another one is withdrawal. Individuals experiencing burnout or indeed laziness, they may withdraw from social activities or their responsibilities. They may, those especially with burnout, might lead to withdrawal due to emotional exhaustion. This is the path we're going down here. It's very difficult for the person with burnout to hook on to any energetic feel. You might find that they're actually trying too hard in ways, and it's like banging up against a brick wall, whereas the lazy person might involve actually avoiding things like social engagements. And actually, that's quite a good test for laziness. If we see a person enjoying themselves at times, that can lead also to good sign, at least a beginner sign, that they are not burnt out, which is a good thing. This is what we want to take care of, that people are not burnt out. But at the same time, we can set them up with social engagement. And if they will not mingle, they will not go to a thing, they will not wear a good dress or a nice shirt and tie or whatever else, they're lazy in many ways too. So there's a subtle difference. Lastly, difficulty concentrating. This is a big thing because it works not just on, draws off more so, not just the psychology of a person, but also on the neurology. And this can be seen through makeup of different brains. If there's a difficulty concentrating, it can impact on a person's focus. And if a person isn't neurologically able to do certain things, perhaps undiagnosed ADHD or ASD, for example, autistic spectrum disorder, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, or somewhere on the spectrum of sorts, a person can experience both burnout and laziness. But again, unless a diagnosis is made, and should be made, by the way, for all of these things that I'm saying, go to your medical doctor, go and check out, have the neurological exams, truly important, because in effect, this difficulty concentrating can affect those with burnout, that their cognitive function is just not working in the right way due to stress, whereas with regard to laziness, it can result in the inability to concentrate due to a lack of motivation. So we can see this lack of motivation, inspiration, misuse of energy, so on, with regard to laziness. And I ain't lazy because I just did that video for you, my friend, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please hit subscribe so that I can be unlazy and do more videos for you and those watching. But if you haven't, well, so be it. I trust you'll come back because there'll be other videos. So thank you for watching. Have a nice day.